So the main sort of point with regards to the sort of our vision is around that sort of global sustainability impact and around sort of making it as simple as possible for people to be able to support that global sustainability impact. So we do that first and foremost through our technology, and we do that through two main ways. Firstly, with regards to the hardware that we use, we make that as easy as possible for the user to install and get their asset up and running within the various different markets. So from that point of view, what that allows the user to do is it allows them to be able to provide flexibility to the ESO, so the electricity system operator, with a view to that then being that flexibility then being used to allow the operator to support their move towards a more renewable network. So as we well know, and we've seen very recently over the last few weeks, there's a lot of volatility and sort of changes in the market, courtesy in a large part of the move to sort of renewable and intermittent generation. So the more flexibility and the more sort of room to maneuver that we can offer a national grid through increasing the number of customers out there that are able to offer national grid and the other ESOs out there globally, more and more assets to be able to sort of manage the transition to a global sustainable world, then means that we can move and we can achieve that goal of 100% renewable green net zero, whatever you want to call it, world. And so from that particular standpoint, we've got to make it as easy as possible for the flexibility providers, so those customers out there who are offering their assets up to provide the flexibility to the ESO. We've got to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to access those markets, as I said, through the hardware that we offer. And in addition to that, make it as easy as possible that when at the point in time where they're required and they're needed to provide that flexibility to support the renewable transition, that's available to the ESO. And so from that point of view, we make sure that our software is as simple to use from their point of view with regard to making assets available, dispatching and monitoring those assets as they're available. So that's sort of very brief overview as to the vision from Kiwi's point of view, and it's predominantly that technology side of things, making it as easy as possible for the customer to provide the flexibility to the ESO, and from the ESO's point of view, then using that flexibility to support the transition to a renewable network. So first and foremost, around sort of assisting customers to achieve their energy goals, it's a sort of, there's normally a little degree of education from our side to sort of assist them to understand the value of the market. And this goes back to the point I was making around Kiwi's vision, around sort of both in terms of the sustainability value that they're offering the ESO through the flexibility that they're providing. So what is sort of the overall sort of sustainability and sort of the importance of the flexibility that they're providing. And then obviously, and it would be naive to think it would be anything else, the monetary aspects of it. So what is the value of their flexibility from a financial standpoint? So first and foremost, it's those sort of two goals. What's the value of their the flexibility they're providing from a sustainability point of view? What's the value of the flexibility provided from an actual monetary value? And then sort of once you've sort of gone through that process of helping them understand those two value pieces, the second point is then to understand what their goals are. So it's really sort of from our point of view, sort of flipping the conversation, where previously I was sort of providing them education. It's about understanding from their point of view with regards to what's their goals, what is it they're working towards, what is it they want to achieve through providing flexibility to their, through providing this flexibility. And then it's really about bringing those two together. So from their point of view, what is their goals? What are they wanting to achieve? What's the value that they see in providing flexibility? Having assisted them to understand what the value is from a monetary and sustainability point of view, bringing those together to say, okay, how can we make sure that the offer suits all parties? So how is it that through using Kiwi Power's technology and our solutions, how can we make sure that they're achieving all of the they're achieving their goals, as well as supporting the goals of the wider network? So I think the main attitude towards renewable energy is probably around the growing understanding importance of flexibility to complement renewable energy. So renewable energy is, as everyone well knows, sort of intermittent in its nature, and this goes back to the earlier points I've been making around sort of like being able to support that transition to a net zero network. And so from that particular point of view, it's about understanding the value of having more and more flexibility that is available to the ESO through Kiwi Core. And from that particular regard, people are beginning to appreciate and understand and place greater value on flexibility. So from that particular standpoint, it's about saying, well, actually, you know, we've seen the growth of energy storage. There's been a huge growth in the UK, and you know, from that standpoint, that is pretty much the most flexible asset you can get. But in addition to that, you know, sort of what different types of flexibility, you know, when a customer looks at their looks across their sort of site, their sort of their energy usage, how can I provide flexibility to the network to support that sustainable growth? So from that particular standpoint, how is people's attitude changing towards renewable energy? I think people's attitude is, how can I support the growth of renewable energy? What can I do more to make sure that I roll out that not only, you know, sort of putting solar on my plant or putting sort of a wind turbine on my site, but also at the same time, then it's now looking and sort of thinking wider. It's saying, well, okay, hold on, I've done my bit, but how can I actually support the wider network? How can I actually support the globe in making sure that, you know, we've got the renewable, we can, you know, like we can roll out and maximize the amount of renewable energy that we can put on the network. And it's in that regard, looking across it and saying, well, hold on, I've got flexibility available here. What plant can I turn off when there's a high demand, low renewable generation point of view? What plant can I, what sort of assets can maybe I ramp up to support the sort of generation when there's high demand and low generation? And, you know, sort of around that sort of around those pieces, saying, you know, what is it that I've got available on site that I can use to maximize the to support the network? And, you know, what is this what's the value of this flexibility? So I think that's the big shift in focus. It's not just from a point of view, okay, I've done my bit, I've put my sort of renewables on my site. It's around, well, actually, hold on, you know, what's the next stage? What is it that I can do as a with regards to sort of wider energy management around supporting the wider sort of growth of renewables? And that is through providing flexibility through using Kiwi Core to be able to offer this flexibility to the ESO and support that global sustainable impact goal that both Kiwi has as a vision and we have as a world. So first and foremost, Kiwi Core is the software portion of our offering. So we've got both the Kiwi Fruit, which is the hardware that talks to the asset, and then you've got Kiwi Core, which is the software portion. And what it does is it gives the flexibility provider, so the person, the customer who is providing the flexibility to the various different ESOs, a visibility as to what their asset is doing at any one particular point in time, and the value that that is offering to the network at that particular point in time. So be it sort of a reserve dispatch of reserve assets. So, you know, when there might be a shortfall of generation, you can see your asset being offering that service, be it, you know, a drop in demand as a sort of, you know, again, through a high demand, low generation time. So what it does is it gives the customer the visibility and the understanding to be able to see what their asset's doing at any one particular point in time and the value that offers. In addition to that, it gives them an easy way to be able to manage that, sort of manage as and when their asset is utilized. So from their point of view, you know, it's companies and sort of production lines and sort of how people use their assets on a day-to-day basis changes. And so from that point of view, you know, it's about being able to provide that flexibility, saying, okay, this is the maximum amount of flexibility I'm able to provide this day. That changes on a day-by-day basis. And from a customer's point of view, they're then able to, rather than sort of being a binary on, off, I'm available, not available, is very much around sort of, it gives them the freedom and the flexibility in a very, very simple way to be able to manage the assets, manage that flexibility and that availability of that flexibility to the network. The more the system operator has, the more understanding, the more visibility they have around these assets, you know, and understand sort of like their capabilities, the more they will use them. The more they'll use them, the more we can support the growth of the renewable generation and the import and the sort of, again, as I keep mentioning, just support that move to a net zero network. What I hope to see and what I'm really looking forward to is actually the audience and the participation from the attendees. In particular, what I'm looking forward to is the questions where people turn around and say, and sort of have that sort of light bulb moment, which I think is so important at these types of events, where people stop and pause and they look and they go, oh, hold on, well, actually, I've got an asset that can do that. I didn't know that that was the value of the flexibility I'm providing. So what I'm really looking forward to is the engagement with the attendees and the audience, particularly around sort of them really driving the question of, oh, I've got this asset here, I've got this asset here, you know, can I do this? Can I do that? You know, I didn't realize that the flexibility I'm providing is got such an important and huge value to our shift to a sort of net zero network. So that's what I'm really, really looking forward to. It's kind of like that trigger, that moment of like, wow, oh my God, the DER network, the DER show here, the distributed energy show has sort of enlightened me as to the value of the distributed energy that I provide. And I want to provide more of it, because ultimately the distributed energy that I'm providing, and the more I provide, is supporting and pushing that transition to a zero carbon, net zero world. And ultimately, from my point of view, that the more I get asked that question, the happier I am. So I'm really, really looking forward to that engagement.